Hi, hello, and good evening. So happy to be back after a big break. It is December 1st. We have a lot to talk about. Hope everybody had a really happy Thanksgiving. We don't have any time to talk about it. This is jury duty. Okay, so first things first. Survivor. We missed last week because it was Thanksgiving Eve and such. Um I didn't take any notes. I watched this with my mom.
Oh,
Um
nice.
PS, got her started on Survivor. She loves it. So she caught up to the entire season and then we watched last week's
Amazing.
episode like together. Yeah, so she's
That's
totally
awesome.
on board.
Yeah,
really,
that really is
fun.
awesome.
Yes, it was really worth it. But I don't have any notes like for last week. Obviously not very happy with the outcome.
No.
So although I do understand the game move, I think was a great decision. Obviously, we saw Shan going home.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I mean, selfishly, we didn't like it. Like, for everyone else's game, fine. Yeah, right decision, I guess. But,
Right.
like, I'm not happy about
Right.
it.
Right,
It really
right.
sucks for us.
Like,
yeah.
I can't say I'm surprised by it because I kind of saw this kind of coming, but it's shocking to me that two people have left the game now that had idols and just didn't use them.
Mhm.
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me that this happened. I guess I am still a little surprised that Ricard is the one who really like kind of started that whole thing. And yes, it was in defense of himself, but I guess I just thought it was a little early. That's
No,
not
I was surprised by that, too.
Yeah, that's not something we often see in our world, right? In
Yeah.
Big Brother, people say, you know what? I'm not going to campaign against my friend. Ricard said, the hell with that. Go home. And home she went. Yeah.
And you know what? Like, I was a little surprised that it was Ricard leading the charge on it, but at the same time, I was thinking to myself, like, awesome, way to go, man! Like, this is a big move, like, and it's it's the type of move that we always want to see, but we're like, oh, they're friends, they're not. That's never gonna happen,
right? The type of moves that we never actually do get to see, right? All the failed blind sides and things like that. This season has not disappointed. No. Was there anything specific that anybody remembers from last week's episode they wanted to go over?
I mean, the thing that I thought of wasn't even from the episode. It was, I don't know if you saw her social media post after the fact.
Only a couple. Why? What happened?
No, Shan's post, I mean.
No. I mean, only a few, like little random things. She shares a lot now.
She had said that, like, the edit didn't air, that she apparently after the challenge was, like, really, really sick. So she was constantly, like, in and out of the medical tent. She wasn't on the beach. She didn't know that, like, there was any kind of plan in motion to, like, change anything. She wasn't, like, privy to the conversations. Because I know a lot of people were like, why wouldn't you just... A lot of people were saying, like, why didn't you use your idol? Why didn't you use anything? And she was like, if I thought there was a chance that I would have had to, obviously I would have. But, like, I literally was in the medical tent from almost the competition to tribal. So I had no idea what the plan was. Like, I had no clue what was happening at all. Which
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I did know that I did read that she suffers from MS.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes, and maybe that is why she was in that medical tent. Which I thought was just like an interesting thing for somebody like her to be playing a game like this that's so that really just wears on your health so much. Like, real kudos to Shan.
Yeah.
I'm curious about this medical tent. Like, obviously, when somebody gets sent to like exile, right? When they like the way that Erica was, like, you know, like obviously, like, you're totally separated from everybody. But like, if you're in the medical tent, like, can people come and talk to you, or like, you know what I mean? Like, is that like?
I have to imagine, based on what she was saying about it, I have to imagine no.
Yeah, sounds like
so.
No.
So it's essentially the same as being like sent off of the island, right? Like that's.
It's like being sent to the school nurse.
Like, you know, I equate it to like in Big Brother when like someone gets a punishment where they have to go like to the outside and get like makeup put on or something. Like you just don't see that person until they come back, you know?
And that's why like I'm almost a little disappointed if that's the case. Like if you're because like you said, it feels like a punishment almost, right? And it's like if you need medical attention, you should still be able to talk to your alliance. You should still be able to talk to people in the game and have an idea of what's going on. It's like, oh, you're sick, so now you're cut off from everybody.
Because she, like, from the way her post made it sound, she was like, one, I'm surprised it wasn't in the edit that I was sick and like not able to like be a part of the conversations or whatever. But also like, I had no idea what was happening. Like, so she like had no clue that there was even an inkling that she might be in trouble, you know?
That's too bad. That's too bad.
I think one of the only other things that I would have wanted to say about this episode, because we're talking about last week's episode, is just that I think it really shows you now that Shan has left, like just how difficult it was for the Cookout and Big Brother to do what they did. Like, and I think we're going to have a bigger conversation about this later because there's more, I think, to speak on with what we saw tonight and some of the conversations. But I think just it highlights what an accomplishment it was. And I was trying to think to myself, like at this stage in Big Brother, right? Because even tonight on tonight's episode, it was only like the 19th day of the season.
Yeah.
At this point,
I think it said that tribal was like day 21.
Right. And like,
yeah.
At this point in like a Big Brother game, I don't even know if Frenchie has left yet. You know, like on this most recent episode. So like, you see how quick this game moves, and it just shows like how much time the Big Brother Alliance had to work together and make sure that everything was working with this Cookout Alliance, and how like in Survivor, like we saw them try to do a similar type of alliance, and it just, but the type of game it is, it's just so different and so difficult to keep an alliance like that together.
I think what also makes it difficult to keep an alliance like that together is that in Big Brother, we had a lot of time to establish this alliance, and it was very, very clear to everyone what the end game was. It's like we are doing this for, and yes, we are going to get into a larger conversation about it, so probably a little too soon. But it's like I can trust in the fact that you're doing this for the culture as well. I know exactly what your motivation is because we've spent enough time together and doing it. There was enough times that it was proven through the votes leading up, you know, because it was white person after white person after white person going out in BB23. And this, we didn't have that. There was nothing really like to establish that. There was really no foundation for this. So it's very, very hard to trust that somebody's heart is actually in what they're saying.
Right. But I think we can have a bigger conversation on that later. But I just wanted to bring it up because Shan leaving, that was the first member of that alliance to leave. So I just wanted to mention it briefly.
Well, Liana was pissed that Shan left.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, I don't really care that Liana's pissed. I think she deserves to be pissed. Ever since she had that face at Xander when she was trying to take his idol, just like, you know, my shit don't stink. I can't wait. I don't know. The whole thing. I've had enough of Miss Liana.
Yes, something about her irks me. I just can't place what it is.
Yeah, because I don't know. I just get the feeling that, or I get the impression that she's just not as nice as she's acting like she is. Like there's a something with her, like she's got like a funky aura. Dude, I'm just not a big fan of. Let me see here. Oh, yeah. I had a question for you guys. I wanted to know what you thought about Shan's exit. Before we totally move on from that.
Oh,
you know, because her walking, and that actually did come up in this episode like several times. Basically, like her calling Deshawn a snake on her way out and saying that Ricard had her vote for $1 million. Now I had some conversations with some people about this like already, mainly about Shan's perceived intention behind having said that. Like, do we think she was sandbagging Ricard, or does she really stands?
I mean, I know for me, like I saw that and I was like, oof, because if I was Ricard, I'd be like, why did you say that?
Right.
I would be pissed about that because now what you are saying is I am guaranteed a jury vote. Exactly. Nobody else is guaranteed a jury vote. So now
I felt like it was kind of a dirty thing. I felt dirty.
Like, you know that I have at least one, and you don't know that anybody else has any. So why are you going to keep me around?
Yeah. But then it could also just be like maybe she really just thinks that it was a good game move. I don't know.
Sure. No, like I don't know what her intention necessarily was, but like regardless of the intention, I would have been pissed about it.
Oh yeah.
He didn't
Ricard-
look thrilled. He didn't look thrilled.
Yeah. I mean, he knows he's already a threat. His name was out
Right.
there
Mhm.
before anything. Like, his
Yeah, that's the
name was
whole
out
reason
there,
why this
so-
happened.
Yeah.
Right.
So to already be a threat and then to announce to everybody that, like, yeah, this person's got my vote if they're there in the end. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but, you know, it's very interesting.
Yeah, it felt weird. It felt weird. So I just wanted to at least like leave that there.
Mhm.
I just have a lot of notes about how I don't trust Deshaun. I don't trust Deshaun. Um,
He's
I'm-
kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
he is all
he-
over the place. I just don't know like what to think of him at any moment.
And I actually, like, I see some of myself in Deshaun because I feel like I'm a very undecisive person. And I feel like this is how I would look playing this game. It's like he can't make up his mind. Like, should I work with these people? Should I work with those people? What should I do? And then he puts himself into difficult situations. Like,
Yes, he does. But the reason why I feel like he also finds himself in these difficult positions is because he makes such definitive, hard statements when he should not. If you don't really
Right.
know what you're doing, then stop saying what you're doing.
yeah.
Like he's
Yeah.
always
True.
running around like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, and everybody should just get in line. And then as soon as like something else changes, like, oh, I don't want to do that anymore. No, I don't really
Yeah.
know what to do. And then we start crying. It's like, no. Like you can't be such a bully about your opinion and not being heard. And then like you don't even really have anything to
Have
be
an
heard.
opinion. Yeah.
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 So tired.
Yeah.
So tired. So we had a twist tonight.
Mhm.
If we play in the immunity challenge, obviously we have the chance to win immunity. However, if you are the first one out, you have to play this do or die chance game at Tribal. And if you lose, you just go home. That's the end of that. I think this twist sucked. Okay. For me, this was way worse than like the high rollers room.
So
Wow.
it's so funny
Yeah.
because I've been like looking on the socials every so often just to like see what people are saying, and everyone is hating that this particular season of Survivor is like twist after twist after twist
Yes,
after twist.
they are hating
And it sounds
They're
like
hating
the way that we talk about Big Brother, because it's like
Mhm.
as soon as like something might organically happen that's kind of exciting, production's like, but wait, there's more. And like 9 times out of 10, it's a flop. And
It's
then
a
it just
flop.
like stops the exciting thing from happening in its tracks. So nothing happens.
Yeah, it's like, oh wait, there's more, and actually, it's going to take away from the game.
Yeah.
Are you guys excited? And it's like, I'm so tired of it. Yeah, this twist stunk.
Because, like, I mean, of course, I don't know previous seasons of Survivor, but it seems like, from what I'm hearing, that this season has significantly more like twists and risk and reward and like whatever than normal.
Yeah, certainly from the 4 that I've seen, this is excessive.
Hmm.
This is more twist than like most of those combined. And I don't know. I don't know that I love it. I like some of them.
Yeah.
I enjoyed all the ones where they were going up to the mountaintop and they had to like meet other people and
Right.
make a decision. I did like that. I don't really care about the decision they're making. I just think it's interesting that people from other like opposing tribes are having this opportunity to make a connection on the outside.
Yeah.
I don't really care about protect your vote, risk your vote, and they get a tarp. You don't get a tarp. Like I don't really care about any of that stuff. But I do like the random. I think the random send off of new people is cool.
Were you surprised at all in this with this twist, like how people decided if they should play or not play? Were you like surprised by anybody's choices or anything like that?
I was surprised that Liana sat out.
I was surprised by that also.
Yeah,
I was surprised that Liana sat out, and I was surprised that Erica played. I guess her name has kind of been thrown out there, but I maybe it's just like the way that she perceives it versus the way that it actually is. Like to me, I was like, well, she's not really in trouble right now. Like no one's talking about her now.
That's what we think.
Yeah.
That's what we think.
I was wondering if Xander was going to sit out or not, because he does have that idol, and I was wondering if he felt like I can be safe no matter what right now, or I could potentially be out first in this comp and then not even be able to use my idol and I be in this do or die situation. So that's why I was actually wondering if he might, but he's such a beast that I wasn't surprised that he played.
Right, and like
Yeah.
I'm sure his mindset was like, now I can have an idol and safety. You know, like I don't think that he
Right.
was really concerned about not winning.
Right.
Yeah, no,
right.
I mean, even if he didn't win, I really didn't see any world where Xander went out first.
Right. Right.
So no, I was happy with his decision. Heather not playing, who cares? I mean, like, probably a good decision. Probably a good decision for her. She didn't have to play. She was in no danger ever. I mean, like, is Heather playing the best game? Question mark, question mark. Wait a minute. Nobody's talking about her anymore. And
Heather,
after rewatching
master
that whole thing,
strategist.
oh my goodness. Maybe she really could have done some of those other challenges. You know, I did have a note. I mean, it definitely came up later, but it doesn't really matter. Heather making that comment that she made, it came during Tribal, but it's about the same thing, about her sitting out because she just felt like, oh, how did she say
Right,
it?
right,
I wrote
right.
it down. She goes, oh,
Like
because
the people that
the people I have outlasted are already over there. It's like, don't
and
paint it like that.
Everybody in jury was like,
because like, get out of here, like, no way. The only thing that you outlasted anybody on was that block over the head thing, and that was the one time, and you didn't win that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Stop it, Heather. That's not why you did it. You did it because you know that you're not going to win, like, regardless who was left. Like, stop it, just stop. But we saw Deshawn go out first. That gladdened my heart.
Like, immediately too.
Yeah, I love it.
It's like he picked the thing up and was like, well, bye.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that competition before too. That's I believe it's Survivor Classic. I like it. I think that one's really fun. I think it's a fun one to watch.
It is fun.
Yeah, certainly more fun than the challenge we got from the challenge. We'll get into that, but really, I was really mad. Yeah, so whatever. So Deshawn goes out first. And obviously stop me if I'm skipping something. I said Xander wanting Ricard to stay in the game. Smart, obviously. Big brother strategy in a way, keep the bigger target in. Great.
Yeah.
What concerned me about that is like the conversation between him and Erica. Like the fact that Erica was so unsure which way she wanted to vote. I was like, girl, you are in an alliance and you have nobody else. If your entire alliance is on board to vote somebody out and you are the swing vote and you are the one person that's like, never mind, I'm going to do the opposite of that. Now you have three people. You have 3 people gunning for you and no one on the other side that has your back.
Right. Your next.
Like, I don't know why that was such a toss up of like, I don't know what to do.
I think the only reason it was a toss up is that those were that would be going against her 2 original Luvu tribe mates.
Right, but that hasn't held any water in a long time.
It hasn't, but like in the event that they stay in the game, and then like, is she nervous that maybe they might fire a shot at her? Because she has not really won. I think she won immunity only that one time, and she wouldn't have won it if they didn't split them off into 2 groups. So it's not exactly like she's a compy. I mean, she's no Tiffany. I felt I had it in my head. I was really excited to get there. But like, so I don't know.
Like it felt like a no-brainer to me. So to see her like going back and forth, I was thrown off.
Well, these could also still be people who are slightly annoyed also that she broke that hourglass, because Danny and Deshawn didn't like that. Now you got to piss off Danny and Deshawn again. I don't know. That was only a couple of days ago. Like, that wasn't.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, like, that was maybe only like 4 days ago that she did that. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's kind of weird. The scope of this game, I feel like, is strange. Like when you're talking about like moments like that, because it's like in Big Brother, like we know exactly how much time has gone by. I don't even remember what day that was that some of those things happened, and that certainly would affect how they view it.
Yeah, like when Jeff was setting up the immunity challenge, he was like, it's day 21 or like whatever it was. I was like, day 21? Like, what are you talking about?
And I think that was only 20. I think the tribal was 21. Like, I mean, like, this game is like, it's crazy to me how many things happen in such a short amount of time. And you think of it that way, like it's only been 3 weeks in their world.
It's like, even like John was saying before, like at that point, like has Frenchie even left? Like that's so early.
I don't know.
Way pre-jury. Like
way pre-jury. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Erica wanting Ricard. Yeah, makes sense. How do you feel? Okay. So this Xander and Ricard relationship, Xander saying that he wants Ricard to stay in the game because he's the larger target. Then he also feels like he can trust Ricard more than Danny and Deshawn. Um, what do we think of that? Um, because it comes up again with obviously the fact that Xander flat out tells Ricard that they're talking about him. So clearly his trust in him is legit. Kind of feels like he might have a teammate in him.
Yeah, I mean,
and after he just burned Shan.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense for Xander. I mean, at this point, Ricard probably feels like he doesn't really have anybody else, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Danny and Deshawn, they have each other. They've been working with Liana, and like we've said, this like Ricard is a huge target. So you keep somebody in the tribe that you feel like you can trust more, who's also a bigger target than you, when he still has these advantages himself. Like Xander knows, like, I have this idol, people know about it, they're gonna come for me, but everybody's talking about Ricard. I'm gonna keep him around as long as I can.
I agree. I don't know. After he burned Shan, he would make me a little bit more nervous than that. I just feel like nobody's really like thinking that way. But I do think, although I say that, but in this situation, when you're talking about Danny and Deshawn, I mean, they were supposed to be in an alliance with her. And while they were the minority of like the numbers, they certainly didn't do much to try and defend her either.
Uh-huh.
And now knowing what we know, that she spent most of her time in a medical tent, and the fact that her own alliance wasn't standing up for her, well, you know what?
Not only not standing up for her, like Deshawn was like, "Yeah, let's get her.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's go for it. Let's go for it."
And
she's over there sick.
Obviously, like we're gonna see later that there was like a little more turmoil than that. But like from what it looked like on the outside, he was like, "Get her."
Yeah.
Lame.
So I don't know. Sorry. So there's that. But John said this. Just want to expand on it. Ricard not having anybody else left in the game must be sort of a scary feeling. Even if he wasn't getting along with Shan, he is now the only person who doesn't have some of his original tribe mates alongside him. I'd be very scared if I was Ricard.
Yeah, he's literally the last one left, even from his tribe.
Ua really got decimated.
Because you look at even if you look at the jury, even, right? Shan is the only person from Ua that's on the jury. Like Xander now will have Tiffany, Evie, those are two people right there. And depending on how tonight's trial went.
Yeah.
Depending
on how tonight's trial went. Well, I mean, anybody watching, I must assume, had watched it. Yeah, I mean, they must have.
Just being very careful.
Yeah, but
John, very anti-spoiler.
I know, but well, so now that we're at tribal, before we got to Deshawn's do or die twist, is where we had this whole thing now about whether or not, the decision behind Deshawn voting out Shan, blah 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 blah. I don't know about all of this, and this does tie into the beginning, obviously, and I just don't trust Deshawn. I didn't really believe that any of that was genuine, because just like you said, he was so quick to get rid of Shan. And I understand that, yes, there's a game and you're trying to do what you're trying to do for the culture. However, I don't think you get to have it both ways, the way that Deshawn was doing it.
I do remember him making some kind of a comment in a DR or whatever in the previous episode. I remember him saying something about not knowing whether getting rid of Shan is the best idea for the bigger picture. It's definitely the best idea for his game, but does he want what does he want to prioritize? I remember that being something he said.
I remember
previously
that too.
From this.
I remember that too. And I guess it just sticks out of my mind so much more how hard he was going to get Shan out. That it's just some of this doesn't really feel genuine. If anything, then maybe some of these tears tonight is guilt for having made the decision you made. But I'm not really so sure. And maybe that's part of what Shan's face was about.
Oh, she had
She had
quite
quite
a
a face. She had
Yeah.
quite a face, and maybe that's part of the reason why. Because I don't know, it just seems a little ingenuine, almost like jury management from the bench.
Yeah.
Sorry, because I even wrote down here. I said, why does Xander talking about the Black Dilemma seem more genuine than Deshaun? Because other than that one DR, I didn't hear him having any conversations like that on the beach.
Well,
Doesn't mean they didn't happen, again, because this is such a super edited, super cut down. Who knows? But I don't know. As a viewer, I just don't trust Deshaun.
Right. No, I agree with that. I agree with that. I it's just so interesting because I have to keep reminding myself, like we've said, this game feels like it's been going on forever. And just tonight, we finally just reached the start of week 3, right? Or whatever. But so I totally understand where you're coming from. But when I think of Deshaun thinking of Shan, right, and not really supporting her, I think to myself, when did this merge even happen, right? Because before Uvu and Ua and Yasa came together, they were separated. So it's been 3 weeks that now we're in the game though now. But
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No.
Just felt like a good time to do it.
You were saying,
but so for my thing, part of me feels especially because we did see Shan throwing Deshaun's name out there at times, right? Maybe she didn't follow through with it, but she was throwing his name out there. And so let's say they all came together, on day 12? We started this episode tonight on day 19. So they've really only been talking to each other and having these conversations for a week? And I know I've heard Deshaun saying multiple times throughout the season, I'm here because I have a lot of, things at home. I have a lot of debt I want to pay off and this and that. And part of me feels I can understand why a week in he's not so
all right.
So I'm gonna go hard for Shan now. That's the only reason why I can see where he's coming from. But
you're right. You're absolutely right. And maybe a lot of my anger is misplaced because I like Shan. So that could be, because you're absolutely right. Shan did say Deshaun's name a lot, and I absolutely gave her a pass. I said that's fine. And that's also because I don't like Deshaun. So I guess I'm biased. I'm definitely biased. So fine. I lose.
But no, because I do see both sides.
But no.
I do see both sides of it too, because I definitely do not agree with everything that Deshaun has done in this game.
Yeah.
But I don't know. In this particular instance, especially when you see that Danny was also part of this too, it wasn't just Deshaun in that alliance that had a hand in this.
You're absolutely right. And I don't care that Danny did it either. I only care that Deshaun did it. So I guess there's really the issue. So thank you for serving the role as therapist today. It really unearthed what's really going on there. And that's basically what's going on. I don't like Deshaun. So you can imagine my dismay when he selected the Flame. I was texting a friend of mine, and it was with the amount of time that's left, he's definitely leaving. Because there's no time.
Well, that's what I said. I was like, there's literally a minute in the episode left. There's no way they're voting.
Yeah. And to my previous point, though, this is why I did not like this twist. I feel like we were robbed of a proper tribal because of this stupid twist that didn't even end up happening anyway.
Right.
I would have rather see some proper deliberation, some drama. I want the whispering. I want to come over here and me talk to you. What are you doing? What are you doing? I really miss that. This tribal sucked. Sorry, total bust.
Yeah.
At least Liana's gone.
I have a question. Did Xander use his extra vote?
Yes.
Tonight?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Yes, he
I was
did,
going to say, because we got 8 votes, right? And there was only 7 people.
I felt like an idiot because I'm sitting there mathematically, this doesn't make sense. How are there this many votes? I don't know what's happening. And then in the credits, you see him holding up 2 things. And I was like, oh, I'm a moron is what's happening here.
They did show. I actually told. Yeah. I missed that.
They did show it. Yeah, I ended up writing it. Yeah, I wrote a side note.
Because I felt like an idiot. I was like, why? Did I forget how to count? What's happening here? And then I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. Is the problem.
I wasn't even counting the votes. I just saw Ricard's face when he kept reading votes, and Ricard just went, and I was like, Wait, why, Mike? Why did he make that face? I said,
Yeah.
maybe we're getting a lot of votes. I'm like, I wasn't paying any attention.
And
Because I just
I'm wondering, and I could be wrong. Like, how do you think the votes? Who do you think the votes actually were? Because do you think that Xander played his extra vote because they weren't sure if Erica would vote the way they wanted? So he was like, let me just throw my extra vote out there.
I have to assume that was
I
the
would have to
process.
assume too. Yeah.
Right. Because then in a way it was kind of a waste to use the extra vote, because that would mean that it would have been 4-3. Liana still would have gone home even without his extra vote.
Right.
But
Just have to be sure. You have to be sure. He knows for a fact that he cannot trust her.
Well,
I mean, I will say though, I was surprised that he used it now rather than like keeping it for a week that maybe he was in trouble.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I think I'm confused also because I think that's still a really big risk, right? I mean, because if Erica does vote the other way, you don't win 5-3. Now it's 4-4.
Yeah.
So now you have to re-vote again, and you don't have that extra vote, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's very scary, but I mean, hey,
but the extra vote,
you got to take risks. So
right, but the extra vote would have been then what pushed it to that tie to give you that shot.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But either way, he would have lost because on the revote, everyone would have voted the same, and he would have just had one less for Liana. You know, like
unless they didn't vote the same, unless they didn't. I mean, I guess that's just your only shot. Okay, yeah. It gets like a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
But that's why I'm wondering too, though. Like this Hail Mary, it's like, listen, you can not use this. Maybe Erica will vote your way, and you still have the extra vote, or you can use it. It'll be a tie. You can revote, and then you still won't get what you want anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I almost feel like he would have been better off. Like,
well, because that's what happened with Shan. Whatever week it was that she was trying to get rid of Heather, was it? Did they end up getting rid of? She used her extra vote. It came to a tie, and then she didn't have the vote the next time. That happened with Shan.
But the way that it was explained was that was all planned. And yes. Ricard and Shan were both there, and Shan was like, I used my extra vote, which makes sense to me because Ricard had been saying, I want as many votes for Heather out there as possible, but I want this other vote to go the other way.
Yeah.
That's why I felt like at one point we weren't sure, like, did Shan do what Ricard wanted, or did she not? We weren't sure, but I think she actually did.
I still thought that whole thing was strange.
Yeah, it was a weird one.
Yeah, it was weird. Ugh. Silly. I'm good on Survivor.
Yeah.
Because we still got mad stuff to talk about.
I know, we do. We do.
A week and a half of TV to talk about.
Yeah, we do. So I'm ready to officially move on to Big Brother Over the Top. Okay, see what's going on with Shelbers. I know Melissa doesn't like that, and that's why I did it. Let me see here. Let me get those notes. Where am I? For whatever reason, I don't know how I got into this habit, but Big Brother Over the Top notes go on my phone. Survivor and the Challenge go in my notebook. I don't know why that is.
I just bought a brand new 5-star notebook.
Wow, official, and we're about to go on hiatus.
I felt like I was like going back to school.
No, I'm excited to get a new book. For BB Celeb, I'm definitely going to get a new book. Yeah, I'm excited. All right, we can't talk about celebrity again. All right, so Big Brother Over the Top. We saw a new HOH. All right, so what else? First of all, what didn't we get? We don't have America's Care Package. Obviously, was a done deal.
Yes,
we knew already from last week that Justin was definitely going to be getting it.
Yeah, only an eligible person.
Yes, all of his thank yous to America, I felt were very silly. America most certainly didn't choose it. As a matter of fact, you were the last one. They never wanted to give you anything. That's what America.
Do you think? I wonder if, as it was happening, maybe there were like 2 packages, and maybe they were voting on which one he would get, maybe to try to keep them involved. I don't know. Maybe not. Who cares? It was 5 years ago.
I don't know. Was there anything noteworthy that happened before? No, because it really started basically with the HOH competition.
Yeah, we just found out that there's going to be no more America's Nomination or America's
Right.
Vote until finale, but
Until finale.
nothing
So-
happened.
Yeah. So, that has been Tommy's favorite thing about Big Brother Over the Top has been America's Vote.
Yeah.
America's
Tommy.
involvement. Yeah, he loves it. So as soon as like they said, oh, we're not doing America's this, we're not doing America's this, he's like, so I guess fuck us. It's like, yeah, basically. But like when you're saying that as if you were actively voting, like
Right.
that vote happened. It's all been decided. So Morgan takes the HOH.
Mhm.
It's so interesting to me to even be rewatching this season and seeing how these competitions are going because I didn't realize just how low budge they were then.
Yeah.
To rewatch these things now and see that they had to answer the questions first secretly, and then they find out if they got it right by now moving forward on the thing, and it's
Yeah.
like, wow, we need Julie. Okay, like if we're gonna do this again, if it's not Julie, then we need some kind of a proper host, somebody to give a damn. I don't know, these faceless competitions and evictions is like very strange to me. And we'll certainly never need another Shelby cheering for herself after she won veto. I mean, just too many weird moments like that,
Even like
Yeah.
not to like jump the gun or whatever, but like
No.
the exit interview, Julie started it off by being like, last week we saw, I was like, this interview happened a week after the eviction episode.
She's too
Oh,
busy.
man.
She's too busy. She can't be bothered. And it's like, I don't know. Like, it's just too weird. Too weird.
That's very funny.
I did
Also,
make a
but
little
bef-
note. Oh,
Oh no, go ahead.
oh no, I was just moving on. If you had something in between.
No, I was just gonna say it was so like I was cracking up because before Morgan ends up winning the HOH, it's just her and Chrissy left up there. And she turns to Chrissy and she goes, listen, Chrissy, if you let me win this, you can have the HOH room and I'll do whatever you want me to do. It's like so I'm to believe that you're winning the HOH, but it's really Chrissy's HOH because you're just gonna do whatever Chrissy wants. That's your
Please.
pitch.
Yeah.
That's the pitch. We're going.
That is, yeah. That's
Right.
you're really gonna try
Like,
and sell
what
that.
a
All right.
ridiculous.
All right.
like,
But did you also love after the comp in the bathroom when Chrissy was like, I didn't want to blatantly throw it.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
It's like,
because
you're all full of shit. What are you talking about?
that was my next note. That's where I was going. Morgan knows Chrissy did not just throw that.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, nice attempt. What else are you gonna do? But she's like, come on, I knew. It's like, come on, Chrissy. She tried to make a deal with you, and you were just like, no way. Oh, for my cold
Well,
dead
also,
hand.
who was taking that deal? That was such a fake deal, like an
Yeah, it was
obvious
terrible.
fake deal.
I mean, it was. It was
it's like-
atrocious. It was.
They're at the final 5. They're playing HOH. Who is gonna just be like, yeah, sure, you can have it?
Yes, and you've been completely against each other from day one.
Yeah.
This has been the most clearly cut and divided house I've seen, like, period.
Mhm.
Like, where the lines are so very obvious. And, like, no. Nobody's. I wouldn't have even believed that, like, weeks ago. I'm certainly
Yeah.
not believing it at Final 5.
She didn't believe that Alex was really her sister. She was going to believe that she was going to give her the HOH.
Yeah,
Right,
absolutely not. So ridiculous. Ugh. We definitely see Justin playing both sides. In the bathroom with Shelbers and Morgan, and then running back to Chrissy and Jason.
Yeah.
But honestly, that's kind of what you got to do at this stage in the game. That's what Big Brother is. I can't really say that I fault him for that. Like,
Yeah. You got to do what you got to do.
yeah, if you're in the middle, I mean, like,
Yeah, and
what are you gonna do?
It was so funny too because we had that moment where he went into the HOH room with Morgan and was talking to her and was like, "Are we still good? Like, are you just gonna go to Shelby? Like, depending on what happens and blah blah blah." And then Shelby walks in and there was that kind of that like awkward.
Mhm.
Yeah, Shelby's like, "What are you guys talking about?"
Yeah, and like,
Yeah.
and like, there's no way that in my mind. There's no way that Morgan is going to go against Shelby. Like if it comes down to it, and like let's say that Morgan's looking and she's thinking her two best options are Jason and Chrissy to go on the block, and one of them comes off. Do we really believe there's ever a chance that Shelby's going to go up over Justin? Like if you have the choice, like.
No, of course not. And I'm sure that Justin knows that. And that's what we see this a lot when we get to a Final 5 because it's such a tricky position. There's always somebody who's out. And this season, it's just Justin. Like, it's very, very clear that Chrissy and Jason are definitely a pair. Morgan and Shelby, definitely a pair. And it's unfortunate because Justin has done things even like to protect Chrissy.
Yeah.
But now at this stage in the game, Chrissy's not giving that to him. So yeah. I think Justin's in like a tough spot.
Yeah.
But he got America's Care package. Thank you, America. And so he gets to play in a competition. If he wins the competition, he automatically goes to Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
He had 2 hours to practice walking on this little slack rope. And he made it across. Not very exciting.
He made it. And, it doesn't look that impressive. But then you see Morgan, this,
Oh, I thought it was
literally.
impressive.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was very impressive because it's not solid.
I thought, it's definitely an impressive feat. But like when you,
he made it look really easy.
No, well, I think it almost speaks to what you were saying, Kyle, about how like this so low budget. Like you walk out there and it looks like it's some setup you'd see in like an elementary school gym.
Yeah.
like right, and it's like really like.
It reminds me of the day it was like you had to do the presidential fitness challenge.
Right.
Like that's what it looks.
Right.
That's what it looks like.
And like I'm thinking to myself, I'm like they're playing a game for
$500,000.
Yeah, and like if he gets across, he's just automatically in the Final Four. And I'm like, this just kind of looks kind of easy. But then you see Morgan go to do
a literal
it,
cheerleader,
completely face plants, and I'm like, okay, that was hard.
It looked like she could have like snapped her neck the way she went down. Like it was like a really.
She fell hard.
Yeah,
I know.
Really disturbing.
Do they do? Have they? I can't remember. Have they done stuff like this before, where like you get a power or something, where you can just skate through to the Final Four? Have they done something like this
I don't
before?
think just to
and do you like this? Do you think that this is something you'd want to see? Maybe not at this stage of the game, down at Final Four, but maybe if there's like some, if we're at the same time where like BB23 did like the wild card room or something, if they're like, it
just sounds like a variation of the wild card room, like it doesn't,
right,
it doesn't seem like.
But like, would you be okay with a twist like this earlier in the game? Say it's like, second, third, fourth week of the game, and it's like if you win this comp, you automatically go to jury. Or something, even if it's only 3 weeks or something, like.
I mean, we did kind of. Claire did win something where she was like guaranteed jury like 2 weeks ahead.
That's right.
Or something like that.
That's right. You're correct.
Yeah, and see, I didn't like that either. Okay. While I slammed the high rollers room, I don't love that twist. What I do think was sort of cool about it is that at least they had to earn up to certain things. Like there was the whole Bucks thing that like, I'm not totally sure that I trust that production's not manipulating that, but I still see less potential for manipulation in a situation like that than what we're seeing here. And I think that's why America's Care package always like bothered me. And I guess it'd be different if you were watching it like live to be able to gauge exactly how these things are going.
Yeah.
Because then you can read the socials, you can kind of get a better pulse of like how people are actually feeling about these players. And then maybe you would feel better about it, but I don't know. I don't know that I love skipping ahead.
See, I like the BB Bucks, and but I think they have to come up with better ways to earn them. Like Big Brother could have so much little fun, like send somebody on like a secret mission or something. And if they like complete it, they get like 50 BB Bucks or something. Like
you want them to be the saboteur? You want to bring that back?
Not even that. Not even that necessarily. Well, so you guys know I watched season 1 of Big Brother Canada, right? And in that season, they actually have like a phone in the house where like if the phone starts to ring and you're the person that answers it, like Big Brother gives you a secret mission. And if you successfully complete it, like either you or the whole house gets a reward. And it's like very entertaining to see if these people can like successfully complete the mission or not. And I'm like, there's so many little things they could incorporate.
Or like even that. Like those things, like I'm thinking the like the crap app, like that kind of thing where like you just like secretly go into a room and you either get it or you don't. Like
anything like anything where you can like make it so it's not just this like America's vote thing where it's like, all right, is this legit or not? Or it's like, oh, 2 people have the exact same name and they're spelled the same. Like, who's getting which votes? And it's like, like make it so it's something where it's a competition or a secret mission or something where you can like give out BB Bucks.
Right,
but it's, I don't know. I think you could come up with so many fun ways to do that kind of stuff.
I don't want to see secret missions. Without
no.
no, just for me. I without a doubt, somebody I don't like is going to answer the phone, and now all of a sudden I have to get 15 to 20 minutes of featuring them, and it's like,
You
no.
see, but like honestly, if you do it the right way, you can make it so fun though.
I don't know. Can you imagine if stupid Scott answered the phone? I wouldn't find that fun. Like, I don't want any more of him. Just even when they were showing the HOH competition, and there's that one little clip of him holding the face with the sword. Just seeing him just for that moment, he was like, yeah. And I was like, like just a moment of him was just a moment too much. And like, I don't know. I don't want him to answer the phone. But I hear what you're saying though. They definitely, I guess I don't wholeheartedly disagree. They could make it more exciting. I do like voting though. You want to take our voting rights away?
No, I don't want to take voting away, because I like when America has like a say in it.
Yeah, I want to vote.
But I do think that like it makes it more exciting if it's like, okay, yeah, we each get to vote every week, a bunch of times for whoever we want. But then like there's other things going on in the house where like maybe it's literally $10 here and $5 there. But like there are different ways for these people to earn, a chance to play some of these other games that are in this like high rollers room or whatever. Like, like do we literally have to wait every single week to see how these votes play out? Like that's the only way anybody gets any money. And by the time we get to the last week, like only one person even has enough money to play. Like, we like this twist has been going on for weeks, and we're at the last week. We should be.
And this is the
most exciting time. Yeah. There's nothing happening.
Yeah, all right, I get that. I don't want to not vote. I really have a lot of fun with my stories, telling people to text 97979. I don't want that to be gone, but I get what you're I get what you're saying.
100% there should still be voting, but I think you could make it a lot more exciting. Like, and I don't know. I just think there's so many different ways to twist the twists,
All right. Justin was pretty blunt about the dissolution of the Jambalaya gang. That fizzled and flopped rather quickly. Not that I think that was a great shock to anybody anyway. I think that Justin only would have allowed that to live, and that would have stayed if he didn't have that safety. Like the Final Four safety.
Yeah.
But there's that. So obviously Morgan puts up Jason and Chrissy. All right. Totally understandable.
Surprise.
Exactly. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I loved their reactions during the safety ceremony. Like,
yes.
Oh my God.
One thing that I will say, which like I surprisingly didn't think about until Morgan said it, in the conversation with, I think it was when she was talking to Justin about like where his loyalties lie or whatever, and she was trying to like push getting rid of Jason. She made some kind of a comment. I think it was like, maybe it was in a DR. I don't remember. But she did something about like, he is a vet. He played last season and he has a ton of followers on social media. So why are you going to give that person the opportunity to get votes from America? And I was like, wait a minute. Why have I not thought of that before right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's such a valid reason.
Yeah. And it's a totally valid reason.
Yeah. And it's amazing too, because Jason even talks in this episode. He's like, somehow this is the first week I'm on the block. You know, like, and he definitely would have been on there earlier. I think there was one point where he won a veto and kept himself safe, or he got a care package or whatever. But like,
and it's just like
we are deep in this game.
Like I've thought about the fact that he's a vet and like sure whatever. I didn't even think about like social media following being a factor of like America's choosing the winner.
Yeah, America
Never
is choosing the winner.
mind.
The people who are watching this particular season, because this was not on during a regular season, so the people who are watching are those social media people. It is all the feeders. So like, that's
never
totally,
crossed my mind for a second,
point.
and then I heard her say it, and I was like, oh my god, yeah.
What did you think about this veto? I don't even think I would play. Okay, I would be so claustrophobic. going through this maze and all this nonsense. And like, of course, and then you're seeing Shelby constantly missing that one, like,
It was
stalk of
so
corn.
painful. They both did it. Shelby
Yeah.
and Morgan
Yeah.
both
Morgan.
like were just about to turn the corner and they were like, nothing's here. I was like, like
Ugh.
I don't even like you, but I don't want you to miss
Yeah.
it that many times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so funny what like an edit does though too, because like Shelby and Morgan obviously did way worse than all of Justin, Jason, and
Uh-huh.
Chrissy, but like Morgan was at like 11 minutes. And, like, they kept showing Shelby and Morgan missing like that same piece of corn, but Shelby finished in less than 4.5 minutes. It's just the fact that literally Chrissy did the worst of anybody in the late night jamboree, and she still finished in 2 minutes and 5 seconds.
Uh-huh.
So like,
Yeah.
so
Jason
Yeah.
was like zooming around that thing too. He
He
right
was
out the gate was
moving
like
through- yeah.
Spider-Man. Like
I
He
love
knew
that.
he had to be. He knew he had
Yeah.
to be. Yeah.
Yeah, he killed it.
But totally not fun, but it was fun to watch. Fun to
Mhm.
watch. So obviously Jason wins, takes himself down. Oh wow, I didn't even like update this. Obviously now leaving, who was it? It was Chrissy and Shelby
Yep.
mhm.
now
Shelby
on the
was
block.
the only option.
I
Yeah.
must have wrote down in my notes about 5 times. Is this the Shelby moment? Is this going to be the Shelby moment? Maybe
know,
now
I
is the
know.
Shelby moment. Shelby's probably going home. It's got to be this moment. And I got to be honest, Shelby's fine.
Sorry. If you just don't like her, you just don't like her.
You
But
know,
like, see,
I-
I do not feel bad that I like this
Literally,
girl.
up until the very end, I was like, it's her eviction speech. It's
Yeah.
the exit interview. Like, I'm waiting with bated breath for the moment that she's going to be
There was
awful.
nothing.
And
I-
Sorry.
I-
Ding, ding,
I
ding,
wrote-
ding, ding. Kyle
I
Petty
wrote-
Hastings wins this one. Okay?
I wrote a statement. I wrote a statement about this.
Oh, you want a statement?
Oh, he wrote a statement. Okay.
I said, now that Shelby has left, I realize now that her time on the show was nowhere near as bad as I had previously thought.
No.
She was still one of my least favorite people in the house,
Oh
and I do think there is evidence that could point to her being kind of a shitty person. However, some of the behavior from the side of the house that I rooted for also really turned me off upon rewatching. I think that a lot of this stems from what we've talked about a lot here. The more you watch the show, the more you watch with a different pair of eyes. The first time I watched the show, I was firmly entrenched on the late night jamboree side of the house. And in my eyes, they could do no wrong, and the ball smashers could do no right.
Oh, ball smashers.
Now I see that no one was ever really as good or as bad as I originally thought. I watch more now looking for what is most interesting, not to root for one player or one alliance. I will say, though, that the biggest thing that did bother me about Shelby and Morgan in this episode is that I didn't like how, like, they were just so like, oh, these people are so stupid. These people are so dumb, like talking down about them. And also, I got to tell you, like, these like Big Brother reveals about like, oh no, this person is really this. They're like, they were lying the whole time. They're not a waitress. They went to law school. And I'm like, listen, okay,
Who
Shelby's out here
cares?
talking about hypocrites. You're all stupid.
Yeah.
You're all dumb. And I'm like, you might have failed the bar. Like,
Yes.
I don't know why you're like, yeah, cool. I mean, like, great. You went to law school. She said she graduated law school. So like, congratulations.
And
But,
she's like, huh, gotcha. And
Yeah,
it's like,
like,
but
there
who
are-
cares? Like, you're
there are-
still leaving.
yeah, like there are terrible lawyers out there.
Yes,
Like,
you're still
So-
leaving.
so, but that was
Yeah.
my statement on Shelby.
Yeah, I felt like we were like listening to a very personal like diary entry.
I was like,
no,
wow, what next?
I paused the episode to write that.
Oh my.
It's a very
Listen,
heartfelt statement.
I even laughed when she was like one of her final DRs, and she was like, "Of course they're gonna vote me out. If they keep me over, or if they keep me over her, and they'll be even stupider than I already think they are." And it's like, I mean, she's even like, she knows she has to go. Like, I don't
Right.
know. Like, sorry, I still
Like, was
like
she a little
Shelby.
nasty? Sure, but I liked her. Like, I didn't dislike
She was
her.
a little nasty, but then in her exit interview, she's also saying that, like, you know, there were things going around the house about Jason putting boogers on her stuff and farting
Yeah.
on her things.
And
like-
like we've talked about, Jason said some really nasty stuff about her
Right,
too.
like they weren't so nice either. So, like, I don't know. you don't
Yeah.
like Shelby, you don't like Shelby. But I don't think she did anything cancel worthy.
No, and I
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
That
I
is
made it.
very
I
well
made
for
it.
you.
I can finally relax.
I do really think that at this point, when I first watched this season with you, Kyle, I was in a place in this game where I was like, I find the people that I want to root for, and then I agree with them. You know what I mean? I want them to do well. And now I watch the game very differently, thanks to you and thanks to Gina and like, you know, and things like that. And it's like now like you watch the game differently. So I'm like, okay, now this time I'm watching, and when Jason says something or Chrissy says something or Justin, I'm cringing just as much as I, you know, was it when Shelby would say something or Morgan would say something. And like, I'm thinking to myself, like, now I can see that, like, I can see both sides of the house now. I used to just root for one side over the other, but now I watch it and with one eye on each side of the house, you know? And so
I have to say, I won't say it yet. I'm gonna wait on that comment. I'm gonna wait.
Okay.
I'm curious.
No, because I think it'll be better placed at the finale.
Okay,
okay.
okay.
It's a good finale comment. You know, since we all know who wins. No, I'll save for that. No, come back. So yeah, Shelby's gone, and I guess that's it. So the final four is Morgan, Justin, Chrissy, and Jason.
Yep.
So next week we'll be seeing who is going to make final three.
And that's the finale. Like that's their that's who makes it to the finale. It's 3 people make it.
Yes. Yeah.
So
yeah,
we're right down to the wire here.
We're here.
It happened fast.
Yeah. So well, on that, just as a quick aside, just it looks like everything really timed out great. I was saying to Gina before you popped on before. I don't think we planned this, but like I know we didn't. But like Survivor, I was
just say we did. It sounds better.
Well, like, Survivor looks like I read that it ends on the 15th.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Big Brother Over the Top, like by our own schedule, we'll be done with that on the 13th.
Oh wow.
Yeah, if the challenge wraps up on the 13th too, that's just like finale week.
Wow.
That's it. We did a great job. Then we did a great job. I'm nervous that the challenge is going to push us one more week. I'm very nervous, but whatever. Pretty close. Pretty close.
We could be there though. We could be.
We could.
I actually kind of think we are. I have some theories.
There was a lot of talk about running the final in this episode. So
yeah.
You know, it's so. See, this is what's funny is that the most recent episode is already aired, but we're talking about last week.
Yeah, we're talking about last week. We're already there because I mean we know Shelby went home. That's really the end of it for that anyway. So here we are. The challenge. Hold on. So this. I have 4 pages for this.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know that all of it's relevant though, you know, because some of it is just me getting angry and just
fair
writing a lot of things. Yeah. Okay. Challenge. All right.
So there are people that might be watching that know more than us, but we're going to talk about what we know.
That's fine. We'll talk about what we know, and then we'll catch up with everybody else on Monday as usual. I'd like to start with a question, and unfortunately, it's going to be more for John, but
I will be a viewer for the next 5 minutes.
No, it's not going to be that long. I'm just seeing, I've been reading a lot of things on the socials about this season of the challenge, and people are saying that this is one of the worst seasons of the challenge in years. And I just wanted to know what you thought about that.
I disagree.
I disagree too. I get what people are saying. Like, this is not.
It's been a weird season.
It's a weird season. This is not the hottest group of vets. There are definitely more interesting vets. And we have touched on that before. Laurel, Cara, Maria, Wes, like definitely like more fun people. But I don't think by any means this is a bad season. Okay.
No.
So
I actually think it's a good season because of how weird it's been. Like there are people on the season and you see now too on the socials, right? Like you see people
in the cast. Oh, Melissa.
Melissa. No, wait, hold
Hey,
on.
girl.
Now that we know she's here,
Oh.
I don't know. All right. I don't know what time you popped in, honey, but I got to tell you, we like Shelby. Well, at least I do.
Oh,
right?
well,
She-
I don't
she's-
really like
What
her.
did we
Not-
miss?
Sorry,
What did we miss?
not cancel worthy. Not cancel worthy.
I'm confused.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know. I don't know.
Melissa,
Unless
Melissa-
she goes totally off script on finale night, I don't know what I'm saying.
Like she goes way AWOL, like something like it just sounds like you didn't like her. And that's okay. That's okay. There's a lot of people I don't like and I slam them too. But like
Melissa, go back, listen to my official statement. It was in a press
John
release.
had a whole diary entry,
Literally
basically
Literally a
just
press
for you.
release.
and
yeah.
I would like to know what you think. Okay. Thank you.
But all right, so back to the challenge now. So
Yes.
What were we talking
Yeah.
about?
we were talking about how this is not a bad season.
Yeah,
not
like,
the best group of vets, but it's still been interesting.
right. And I think it's interesting that there's a couple of vets out there on the socials that are saying like they're taking a break. Have you seen this?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people like that. They're taking a break. They don't want to do this anymore. And they're really, really mad that they're not being asked to come back or anything like that. And it's like, look,
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that's been
It's
going on
just-
the socials, which
and I
makes
feel
making me
like-
like Amanda a whole lot less. I gotta
Right.
tell you.
Right. And
Um,
yeah, I also feel like this season more than others, and tell me if I'm wrong. Like I know we always have at least an injury or two, or we have somebody that gets thrown out for fighting or something. But it seems
Mhm.
like this season we had a lot of injuries. We had a lot of people go home for reasons other than being eliminated.
Well,
from the
I do
game.
wonder if that's a COVID thing too. Because we only really, to my knowledge, we only saw like one injury, right? Or did we see?
Oh, we
more than
had
that?
we had Anissa, we had Turbo, there was somebody else, somebody from Survivor. One of the
Turbo is
other.
not this season, babes.
Wasn't he there for like a day and then left?
Turbo? I don't think they asked him back after that last violent
Hold on.
outburst. I think Turbo is done. I wanted to
Let me
find a
see
really good
here.
metaphor or something.
Did I just
I mean, I could
completely
be wrong, but like,
Did I just
Oh, well,
completely
there was-
invent that in my brain?
There was that dude who was from Survivor that like got a concussion. Now that I think about it, he had played the challenge before. He was from Survivor, and then I think he got a I think it was like the week before she went out.
Oh, I'm thinking of the wrong person. Nam, not Turbo. Nam.
Nom.
Yeah, Nam was medically disqualified. Tommy medically disqualified.
Tommy.
Anissa medically. Tommy was the one from Survivor.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Anissa medically disqualified. We had, who was this person? Lauren disqualified. Fessy
Oh, right.
disqualified. Ashley disqualified. Like I feel like there's a lot. That's 6 people. Like that's 6
Messy.
people. 6
Messy.
people that went home in a way other than being eliminated,
Yeah.
like in a competition, which I feel like is a lot.
It is. This season got messed up. All right. We had a lot of Emmanuel in the beginning, just talking a lot of crap. I'm kind of tired of him. I want somebody to throw him into the lair.
I don't
Um,
understand how nobody has. I'm so confused. They had this whole big thing about getting the rookies out, and then nobody has ever looked at him once.
Because I think everybody's scared of him. They are scared of him. I just don't want him to do that chicken thing at me ever again. Like, I'm tired of that. Okay. All right.
He's weird.
There was a lot of Devin and Tori.
Mhm.
Lots of Devin and Tori.
Devin's annoying.
He's
Devin-
really like I've had enough. I've
I know.
decided.
Devin
I like-
has been annoying, but I'm not always agreeing with Miss Tori. All right. I had notes on
But-
page 1
I
supporting her.
haven't really made an opinion on anybody on here because I don't know the history of the show, so I've been very much like I can't really form an opinion, but I've decided Devin sucks. I do
I'm
not
not
like
even.
him.
Yeah, I'm
Aw,
not even.
man. Aw,
I'm not.
man.
I'm not even necessarily like. I'm not even necessarily referencing like the Tory stuff, but you even saw Kyle in this episode, who Devin even said Kyle is one half of Dial. Even Devin said that, and Kyle himself was saying like Devin's gone power mad.
Well, it's like there's this thing where I feel like all season we've seen Devin taking everything so personally, and like everything that doesn't go the way that he wants it to is seen as such a personal attack. But then he
Yeah.
goes off on people like Tori for like having her feelings hurt. He's like, why do you have your feelings hurt? It's a game. It's like, you don't get to make that claim when you're the one who's had your feelings hurt all season.
Yeah.
Like people are making game moves and you're taking it personally.
Right.
Obviously,
Like,
she's not going to play for your team. She's not on it anymore.
This is a
Right.
game. This is a
Right.
game for $1 million. And everybody's trying to win. And everybody has different ideas in their head. And it seems like every time something doesn't go Devin's way, he takes it as this like personal attack. Somebody's trying to sabotage him. And it's like, dude, calm down. He looks at Emerald. He's so happy to be on Emerald. And by the end of this episode, without even me like saying who went home this week, by the end of this episode, Sapphire's got 3 people, Ruby's got 3 people, Emerald's got 5 people. Okay, your team has come out almost completely unscathed for weeks.
And it's just, like he got mad at Amanda for being selfish. Obviously, she's being selfish. She's playing for $1 million. He gets mad at Tori for like playing for the team that she's on rather than the team that she left. Obviously, she's going to play for the team that she's on. She's playing for $1 million. Like, what?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Especially when you consider how Tori left the team. She had a bad taste in her mouth because she heard members of her own team. Whether we want to say, Josh had that conversation with Amanda, like, if you come to our team, just don't get rid of Nany or Casey. Like, whether Josh meant that in a negative way towards Tori or not, as soon as she hears that, she thinks, okay, I'm the expendable person of the team. So now that she's on a new team, and she's thinking, I just got sent away from Emerald, who not everybody on there even wanted me 100% anyway. So I'm on a new team now. I'm gonna bust my ass for them. Maybe I can win with them. And for Devin to be like, no, you trying to help your new team win, you're sabotaging me. I'm like, dude.
I really do agree with everything you guys are saying. Bess, I'm just being very quiet because I really wrote here.
You were making faces that told us otherwise.
Well, because, and we're gonna get there. I was making those faces. You're right. I'm withdrawing my faces because because I did in this moment here in the episode. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Tori made some comments later where I have more to say, but we didn't get there yet. But right here, I did say, Devin, I'm sorry. I was really trying to support you on this one. And I said, it just might happen again, bro. She's not on your team. Tori is so right here. And she is. You got rid of her, and now you're expecting her to still play in your favor when you guys kind of pushed her off.
Yeah.
Can't happen.
I do also want to say, because I feel like the last last few weeks, I've been like very hard on Devin, but I actually like Devin. I've always liked Devin. And like when he's been like a disruptor and an agitator in the house, like I've actually liked it. Like I've thought it's funny. I thought it's like kind of like good for his game. He finds a way to get into people's heads. But this season, it's just a different vibe for me. Like it is a different tone. He seems way more like he's calling everybody else selfish, but he's the one to me that seems the most selfish. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like
you're right. No,
I do.
You're right.
But I do.
I just don't. I don't want to say this because I've always liked Devin. So I don't really. I don't want to say it, but I do agree.
And that's why it feels weird to me, is because I do actually like Devin, and normally he's somebody that I root for. But this year, I don't know. I just can't put my support behind him right now. Maybe that'll change. I don't know.
I have to say this episode did give me one of the first moments where I did agree with Kyle, like for the very first time.
Wow.
He did make a comment. I'm really not liking. I've always been a big CT fan. He's rubbing me the wrong way these past couple of weeks. It's starting to kind of annoy me. I have not liked the way he's been dogging Big T, and I was pretty vocal about that the last time we potted. I'm still back with that again. And I think it's ridiculous that he is sitting here expecting Kyle to like either ask his permission or apologize for the fact that he put himself on Sapphire when like you've been slamming him and put him into eliminations every other time. Like he doesn't owe you anything.
Right.
I don't know. So that was my only comment on that. So Kyle going on and on and on about how like get the hell out of here, CT. Sorry, I kind of have to agree. You helped put me into an elimination.
Right.
I get to go wherever the hell I want to go. You don't get to say anything, and I don't have to ask you, can I come on your team after you tried to send me home?
Right.
Like, no.
And
I do have a question for you, Kyle. Because I 100% agree with you on this. Like CT and Kyle, there's a lot of tension, a lot of friction.
Always has been.
And
Always
it's interesting. And there always has been. But I was curious about something. Like Amanda said something because she was commenting about how Emmy was trying to like kind of make, you know, kind of make the peace between CT and Kyle.
Mhm.
And Amanda made this comment about like CT has betrayed Kyle so many times. And like I was trying to remember, like, is that true? Like, is CT actually betrayed Kyle?
That
Like,
threw me off too, because I was like, I feel like I would have heard more about this if that had happened.
I think the word betrayed is a little overplayed, like in this situation. I will say that I don't think that CT has always played the most trustworthy game towards Kyle. I do believe that CT would burn Kyle like first chance he gets.
I think
But I
that's true
also
of both
believe
of
that
them, though.
yes, and that's where I was going to go with that. I think
Okay.
that comes from the fact that Kyle will do that to anyone. So like
Right.
there is no basis or any kind of foundation at all for why CT should like be good to him. You know, like the relationships that he has with Emmy is like something that he's never going to have with somebody like Kyle, because like
Yeah.
Kyle doesn't play honestly like that. Kyle is always like playing for himself, and like I'm not saying that that's not how you should play, but that also doesn't mean that people will trust you. Like I don't know. I just don't think that I don't think CT ever betrayed him. Like it was
Right,
certainly
that-
nothing
that-
like Ashley and Hunter.
It was just an
Or
odd
Bananas and
way-
Sarah.
yeah.
Like that wasn't like a real like betrayal.
It felt like just an odd way to be put, and I was wondering if there was some kind of history, something that happened that I wasn't remembering.
Not that I remember. Anything that I remember that happened negative around Kyle was his own doing. That I remember.
Right.
I don't remember Kyle ever being wronged outright by anybody else.
Yeah.
That wasn't at least instigated by something he did then.
Yeah.
I also wrote here, Tori asking for an apology from Devin is not something that I think is so ridiculous. And I said again, yeah, Devin, I'm sorry, you're super wrong here. All right, this Big T thing. Because Big T going in and basically, you know, saying that she wants to put respect on her name, and she wants to go into an elimination to blah 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 to prove herself, this, that, and the other thing. What really stands out for me so much was that donut thing, and I know I've brought it up before, but like her coming in like to have breakfast and like they're like, oh, you're just having a bowl of donuts or like whatever it was. She goes, well, I like donuts. And it's like, you know, Big T, like not for nothing, like I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but you came into this season knowing what people already thought of you, that people already were underestimating you. They were not putting any kind of respect on your name. So now you're gonna walk around and like just keep shoving donuts in your face in front of these people. Like if you wanted to prove yourself, you should have like started that from day one. No? Am I being mean? I don't know. Like I just feel like
I don't see how that's relevant, but
you don't think so? I think in this world, I think it's relevant. These are people who always say, like, why don't we go outside? We need to exercise. We need to train.
Right.
Don't just lay around. Like, we need to be working out. What are we doing? What are we doing? And here comes Big T with donuts.
That was when everybody was chanting at her, right? Like breakfast of losers.
And that's why they say it though. This the environment in a challenge house is not like Big Brother. We're just kind of laying around and like we're just doing whatever. Like they're always showing them all like in the gym, always working out, getting ready for the next thing. And it's like this is your 4th season. That's not like something that's new to you. You're constantly around people who are always working out. Even on Ruby, like wasn't Corey like trying to make them work out more, and then you're just gonna walk around with donuts? That's why I think it's relevant. Because
we even saw
it makes it look like you're not taking it as serious as everybody else. And of course they're gonna think then you're not really in it.
Who was it? I think it was Josh before he left. When Amanda came to Emerald, was like, you're gonna get up early and you're gonna run laps with me, you know, like that's just like the attitude and the culture there is like we get up, we work out, we eat healthy, we do this, we do that, we're the best tip-top shape. So like I get what you're saying, where like if somebody in the house where all these people are doing this,
these are
somebody
people
for breakfast comes with a bowl of
Like somebody would walk in with a bowl of Cheerios, literally walks in with a bowl of donuts.
Right, that's what I mean.
You're like, we have a challenge today, right?
Yeah, you're in a house with people who think of themselves as like high-performing athletes.
Right.
You know, these people keep saying, "Oh, the challenge is a sport." I wouldn't quite go that far. You know, like it's not. But like that's what they think they're doing. So like,
right. I mean, we've seen on like Champs versus Stars, right? Like these people that are on the challenge in those spinoffs are going up against and trying to compete against and thinking that they're as good as Olympic athletes. Yeah.
yeah.
So like when you're in this house, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with Big T being like fucking, I like donuts, so I'm gonna have donuts for breakfast.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
But
I also get why people
is.
in that house. Yeah, I get why people in that house would be like, listen, we have a challenge today. You're on our team. We're all like fasting for the morning, and you're walking around with a bowl full of donuts.
You're already the person who doesn't pull their own weight. Like
right.
that everyone keeps saying that. And then you're gonna like kind of compound the issue. Like, I don't know.
Right.
It's like walking into CrossFit with an Egg McMuffin. Like, what are you doing? Inappropriate. Let's see here. This challenge, boring, total flopper, in my opinion. It's just a race. Moving money in duffel bags to a car.
Yeah.
Lame. It wasn't even fun to watch.
It wasn't. And honestly, like it's just, I mean, Ruby did well, but like for Sapphire, it's like, why even bother? There's 2,000 pounds they had to carry back and forth. And essentially it's CT and Kyle, from what I saw, that was doing a lot of the carrying. And then you had Big T jumping into the wrong car. It's just like, this is a mess.
Yeah. I didn't enjoy that.
This was not a fun. Yeah, this was not a fun challenge to watch.
No.
It was literally just like CT and Kyle yelling at each other. And then like
I had this on as like background noise at that point. I was like, what else can I do while this is on?
Right.
Like,
I can't. I really didn't pay a lot of attention. I wrote some notes about Nelson being annoying. Just talking about Devin's endurance.
He was struggling.
I'm not saying it's not true, but like, come on, Nelson. You've played this game a long time, and you don't usually make it this far. So like, I don't know. You're coming in here all hot, as if like, you know, this is your challenge to win, and it's never been. So just calm down. Amanda's only working this hard because it's a female elimination. Okay, that I did notice, and everybody's talking about how good Amanda's doing. Oh wow, Amanda's working so hard. Oh, look at Amanda, I was really impressed. It's just because she's scared she's going home. Like, Emerald won. Win number 5. Not very exciting. Big T should have proven herself before. I said that.
Yeah.
Oh. What do we think of Nany? And I guess this is also kind of like more for John because you know her history. But like, this is like the quietest I've ever seen Nany.
Yeah, I mean,
she's not fighting.
It's interesting because like
she's not anything.
Right.
She's emulating Casey in every way.
Like as somebody who's never seen the challenge before, she seems very like irrelevant to me. It's like she's not even really there to me.
It's,
you know,
it's weird. It's weird. It's very. It's
like I'm not saying it to be mean. It's just like she's never has no airtime. Nothing happens.
No, what's also funny is that when we start talking about the challenge, Gina starts to like remove herself a little, right? Like she starts to sit back and like everything, and then like her saying that, it almost comes off so like snotty. It's just like she seems just like irrelevant to me. Like I have not been in this conversation for a few minutes, but I'm just chiming in just to say that Nany sucks. Like it's just.
I'm not shading her. I'm just saying I literally cannot form an opinion on her because she's not
I know
there.
I know how you meant it, but that's how it looked, and it was a good chuckle from me.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm sorry. What were you saying, John?
It's just, it's been a weird. It's like, overall, we were saying it's been a weird season, but even for Nany, it's been a weird season. Like
Nany's a firecracker. Like she's always
like,
getting into fights. She's always starting stuff, and like so to basically forget that Nani's in it is like
Right. But
that's
see,
how
that's the
Casey
thing.
plays his
I
challenge.
I
That's how
ha
Casey plays.
I haven't forgotten though that she's in it because it's just weird because every memory that I have of Nani, and I don't think that this is even her fault, but every memory that I have of Nani on this particular season, right? Challenge 37, is like the edit we got of her and Casey going on like that weird date.
Ugh,
Like and
yeah.
like even in this episode, I feel like the one time that Nani stuck out to me was during like the deliberation when she started speaking up. And I'm like, I can't really remember anything when like Nani was actually in a competition. Like I remember seeing her a lot this season, but it's all like random. And like I said, I don't think it's her fault because she's on Emerald. She's been on like a winning team 5 times. Like she's
Right, and we're not seeing a lot of people from Emerald, in all
right.
honesty. We're only seeing Devin because he's got this big thing with Tori. But like
Yeah.
Emmanuel, I guess we're not really seeing a lot of him either. It's just very strange because
Like
Nani is usually such a like
right,
focal
right.
point of the season.
And it seems like Nani, it seems like Nani is just, they've decided that like, we're just going to focus on Nani's relationship with Casey this season. That's what it seems like to me.
What I think it is that Casey said, sit down and be quiet. You need to stop all of this and like stop starting all this stuff. You need to play like me. Just be
Mm.
quiet and fly under the radar because Casey's one that you always forget about too. How
Yeah.
many times has she played the challenge? Like 3 or 4 times now. I
Yeah.
always forget that she's even in it until we get to the final. And you're like, oh shit, Casey, because no one ever challenges her, no one anything. She
Mhm.
just gets to just skate on by. Nobody fights
Yeah.
with her, nothing. Which is very similar to what she did on Big Brother. But yeah, that's all. I thought that was very interesting. You know, usually we've got Nani throwing things and like cursing in people's face, throwing drinks in people's face. What did you think about Amanda talking about Tori? How she should be the choice, like to go, being that Tori is so strong and blah blah blah, and how
I
she
think
wanted.
it's, honestly,
I think
I
she's
thought,
right,
yeah, I mean,
but
Tori is
who's going to
definitely
get
the
her
biggest
out?
threat. Right. Right. That's the thing. Like, just, I think that I don't think that it was smart for Emerald to consider anybody else but Big T. Because guess what? No matter who you vote down, Big T is going down. She's going to be picked. So just put her down and let her pick who she wants. Because I feel like if you throw Tori down, she's going to pick Big T and she's going to beat Big T. like I'm sorry. And you're just going to piss Tori off by putting her
Mhm.
down. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, so like just put Big T down. She wants to go down. Regardless of who you vote down, if it's Emmy or Tori, they're going to pick Big T.
Yeah.
So Big T is going to end up down there. Just put her down there. She's already the guaranteed person to be voted down anyway. So like, just put her in there. Let her pick
Right.
who
Why
she
piss
wants.
off anybody else?
Right. You don't have to piss off Emmy or Tori. You know, like
Right. Now there was a thing though that had happened here. Like Emmy made some comment to Emmanuel that I kind of thought was ridiculous, but it's kind of like
yeah,
ties into this.
I was a little annoyed with Emmy's attitude. during
Yeah,
this.
and
I
she
know
was
what you're.
saying
I'm trying to remember.
She was saying that if Tori was voted down, Tori would have picked Big T, so she would have been safe.
Mhm.
You know, like she wanted
Right.
people to protect her.
right.
Which honestly,
what it
like,
was.
why should they protect you anyway? You know, I mean, like,
Well, it wasn't really that they should protect her. I think Emmy's beef was that she thought Emmanuel would because of their
Yeah,
Survivor
but I mean,
Romania ties.
right? But he's one vote. You know, like he's one vote.
Right. And you also don't know how he voted. He was one of 5. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was kind of
I
silly.
actually wrote my comment was that she's just taking it out on Emmanuel. Like she knows that now because Tori didn't get voted down. She's mostly likely going to get picked because Big T's not going to want to go against Tori.
Mm.
So this is now all Emmanuel's fault. Even though there's 5 people on his team, he only has 1 vote. You know, like, and you know what? For a while, it seemed we saw Devin actually saying like, should we vote Tori in? Amanda wanted to vote Tori in. Like, so, you know, like it didn't end up going that way. It's not all Emmanuel's fault. Like other people clearly didn't vote for Tori that could have. So
I'd like to. I agree. I do agree. I just really want now the Devin and Tori thing again now.
Mhm.
because there was another conversation with them that happened
Yeah.
around the same time with this.
Yeah.
And this is where I stopped agreeing with
Yes.
Tori,
And I
because she was
started to be
basically
annoyed by
throwing
her
the
also.
same thing back in his face.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Devin even mentioning throwing Tori in, it felt very paybacky, and I didn't really like that.
She threw the friend stuff out there though, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
she's
I
like,
know.
"Oh, we're
Yep.
friends, and I'm looking out for you." And she's like, "Do you really want to put me in because I'm looking out for you?" And blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, Tori, you
Yeah.
just said that you were playing this game for yourself because you're not on this team anymore, and you're blah 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 blah, and you're playing for your team. Now it's this. Now we have a situation where who should go into elimination, and now all of a sudden we're friends again. Well, now we're not playing the game, and that's where Tori kind of like lost me. But like. And that's why I was making faces before, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, because I wanted to
Right.
get to this, and it's like, but we're not really there yet. She didn't say that yet, so like,
Right.
So I
'Cause
don't
she-
know. I felt like she was kind of
'cause-
trying it there. I guess
Right.
elimination is also different from just being on a different team. But if you're so okay with me leaving the team that's constantly winning that you're on, then like you don't care if I'm eliminated is still sort of the side message. So is it really
Right.
like that different?
Well, it was funny because like there was a point where I kind of like rolled my eyes at Tori also because she made a comment to Devin and was like, she's like, I would have never gone against any of you guys in the Emerald Cell. And I was
Right.
kind of like, but you made a whole plan with the Sapphire Cell to beat Emerald.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Like-
that you can get somebody like
Right. And I'm like, and then I was thinking like, unless she was like lying and it was like, I'm just gonna try to make Ruby win so that we can protect Emerald. Something like, is that what she was trying to say? It
no,
was
and
like,
she also could just be trying to like she's playing the game and she's also
Right.
being manipulative. I mean, it
Right.
could just be, I just thought that was like right on the heels of your big morality speech that was supposed to be outside of the game.
Right. No. I agree. I totally agree. I'm not
kind of
I'm
icky.
not Tori. I'm not letting Tori. I've been very, very critical of Devin, but I agree with you on this. I could not support Tori here. I thought she was yeah. But I immediately got annoyed at Devin, like in the deliberation. So
Yeah, he was really annoying in the deliberation.
Yeah. He was like, "Oh, it's no more personal than Ruby and Sapphire
Mhm.
trying to beat Emerald." It's like, dude, both of those teams combining together, that only just now gives them an equal amount of players as your team.
Yeah.
That whole fight was so ridiculous. Like the back and forth of it. I was
Yes.
like, what is happening?
It was so stupid, especially I don't know who said it. They're like, well, it's a girls' elimination.
Yeah.
Like it's like none of this even matters. this
It was
week.
none. She was like, all right, like I love you guys, but like there's no point to do this right now. Like, please stop
Yeah.
talking.
Like literally no point. But again, Nelson I found to be very annoying in deliberation also. I just feel like he's just always like on 12.
Mm.
And like I just don't know
Yeah, I
what
think
that's about.
the emotions have been very high this season.
Yeah, and it's just like I don't know. I just don't like Nelson right now. So the agency selected Big T.
Yep.
I did think that it was interesting though that in the deliberation, like nobody even really mentioned Emmy as even like a possible option. Just thought that was interesting. Just wanted to just throw that out there. But yeah, so Big T goes down. I just had like a fun little side thing. So you know how like right before the elimination starts, we get these little interviews and like they're talking about oh, I'm nervous. I want to win this because blah blah blah. And I have family at home and yeah. But now this year they started these little like things where like they're kind of posing and like right like in between
Yeah.
like this interview thing and like now and last week we had Emmy on all fours crawling like towards the camera and they're doing that really fancy like pan left to right thing and it's like. So what does everybody else do when that's happening? Just standing there, like isn't like it's not weird to look at because we know what a TV show should look like, and I just I don't know, I just felt like it was like a weird thing.
Thinking
like,
about the logistics, though, yeah.
Yeah, like when you start thinking about what this might actually look like to actually be there, and actually to be her in that moment, you're
Right.
about to possibly be sent home. This is for your share of $1 million. But first, pose menacingly. And I want you to look very confidently and look that way.
Do you
And
think
it's like
they-
that's just like a strange like
Do you,
thing.
do you think maybe they just like film those with everybody, like at the beginning of the season, maybe, and they just
I
save
don't
them?
know because
They just
Emmy
like save them
tonight.
for when they're in elimination.
This is what really made
I
me
mean,
think
because
of
there are
that,
people
Emmy
in
tonight
multiple
had
eliminations.
yes, and Emmy had those braids in her hair today, 2 braids. She doesn't always have that, but in her all fours thing, it was 2 braids.
Interesting.
And she's gone down more than once.
More
so
than once,
They
yeah.
haven't just used the
Well,
same.
Maybe they say dress however you're going to dress when you go to elimination.
And we'll film 15 of them. Like,
Yes.
right.
Right,
Yeah,
that's what I'm
'cause
saying.
this-
Like, no, I feel like it's happening right then.
Yeah,
And like
because this was also
weird.
Emmy's like this was her like fourth.
Fourth.
it was her
elimination, right?
fourth. It was
Yeah.
her fourth. Like, yeah, I just thought that was like a weird thing.
All right. You're right.
Yeah, that's all. That's all.
I just was throwing it. I couldn't remember if they like looked the same in those.
And I'm not even saying that I want them to stop it. Like, because
Right.
I think it looks cool. But it's like,
This is just right up there with how are their teeth so white? Like,
yeah, it's just like just
Yeah.
one of those weird techie
You
things.
see,
that
I hadn't actually realized if like things like you were saying, like the hair or the clothing was the same in those shots and like in the actual competition. So that's why I was asking if you thought they could have filmed it ahead of time. But
no.
that's interesting. That's very interesting.
Yeah, I think it's like really weird. Like TJ's just like right over there, like I guess like what talking to Carew and like how strange. They must feel like a complete stop to something that would have such tension built around it, you know? Like
Yeah.
I just think it's weird. So obviously we had this was an interesting little challenge. To swim under the thing, ring the bell, go
License to
back.
chill.
License to chill. Yeah. You were so excited to say the name. Yes. We didn't mention any other like challenge or elimination title for anything, but this one.
I thought Maze was funny.
We didn't even mention it.
Maze.
But yeah, license to chill.
License to chill.
When a little horn or whatever goes off, so you got to go under the water and like ring the bell and come back out and keep working on this puzzle. And the entire time, CT is just shouting. for
I
Emmy.
know. And
And,
Amanda was like, "Shut up."
Yeah, that's not helping.
Like,
You're probably just
enough.
distracting her. Yeah,
you know what?
I
I
would
think it
hate that
was.
if somebody was screaming at me. I
I
would hate
would
it.
too. I would too, unless
Yeah.
it was CT and I was trying to do a puzzle because I know he's solved a million puzzles on this show. I'm gonna
Yeah,
listen to every
except
word
for
he
the way
says.
that he yells, though. He gets so mad, and like that tone of
Because you just got to listen to him.
You know, in that tone of
I'd be
voice.
like, I'm trying to cut. Like, I even wrote this down during the notes for Survivor too. Like, I would be so mad at Jeff. Like, I am trying to concentrate. Stop yelling at me.
But you know what though?
Shut up.
Hey, you know what though? Maybe that's what Emmy. Maybe that works for her, right?
I mean, it must.
Because what happened?
She was totally overwhelmed. It seemed like she was listening, and she ran right back up to him. Oh,
That's
well,
what I'm
there it is.
saying.
There it is. Big T's out.
Right. Sorry, Big T. And listen,
Yeah,
she was already on her second life, so
She was.
you know. But no, that's what I'm saying. Is like, yeah, like we talk about, yeah. If somebody was screaming at me, trying to tell me what to do, it would annoy me. But like, Emmy came out with the win, and what did she say when TJ told her, like, asked her, like, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? And she was like, I will always go back with my uncle CT.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's what works for her. I need my uncle
and
CT.
she went right back to him and
at
she
me.
hugged him. Yeah.
Yeah.
That no good for me. There's no way that'd be any good. So yeah, Emmy goes back to Sapphire.
I felt really bad for Big T because she noticed, it was visible in the episode that she noticed that CT was rooting for Emmy, and it did hurt her feelings.
Yeah. And speaking of like hurt feelings, I have a whole like paragraph like in the margin here over this, and like my heart hurts like for Big T. I have to be honest. Like, and when I think about how this happened months ago this season, and it was only recently that she announced her retirement, and then you're watching this, and she's talking about how she wants to come back and be a champion. It's almost like she truly is. She's probably like sitting at home rewatching this whole thing
Hearing
And,
what
like,
everyone's saying about her.
yes, and then the timing of your retirement, now you wanna go learn now you wanna do cooking instead. That's
know.
so not how you left this challenge.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like they really broke her spirit, and that just made me sad, like,
Yeah.
thinking of that. Um, I think we're gonna get a very interesting reunion for that reason.
Are we definitely getting one? Do you know?
Yeah, they filmed it.
It's already filmed.
Mhm.
Okay, good.
I don't know who told me. There was some drama with Corey in the reunion. That wasn't you?
I don't think
Oh.
so.
I had heard that Corey had some drama, with
I did see, because I saw, so Big T was one of the people earlier when I was saying that it seems weird that people are taking like breaks from the show or retiring. Big T was one. Corey's another I saw that might be taking a break from the show.
well, he was mad because apparently he was not allowed to attend the reunion,
Hmm.
because he was, like, not vaccinated or something like that, and they didn't want him there.
Surprised he was able to compete at all.
Right, and that's why now I don't even know if that's even, like, true. Where did I get that from? I thought you told me that. I don't know where that came from.
I mean, maybe they
I
just
don't
had to
know.
be. I mean, if they were going into a bubble, maybe they just had to test negative, and then they could go and compete.
Yeah, maybe.
But I would think that on a show like this, like,
I would assume.
like,
Oh, well, you know
yeah.
what, though? This was filmed, like, a really long time ago, from what I've heard.
That long ago, though?
I don't know how widely available the
I just-
vaccine was.
see, but
made
that's the
this was done.
But that's the thing, though. Like, if I feel like for a show like this, like,
Because I thought this was, like, the end of last year.
I feel like if anybody on the show has the vaccine, then probably everybody would have access to it. You know what I mean? Like,
Right,
Like, this
and
cast,
maybe that could be it. I don't know. I really now I kind of want to now I want to go on, like, Wikipedia or something just to see, like, what the actual, like, filming dates were, if that's on there.
I don't know. I just feel like that would be the type of thing that, like, MTV would be like, the only people
Yeah.
on this show, they're like, and like, if you didn't get the vaccine, then you weren't on. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's like we'll
No, I
find
would've assumed the same
we'll find
thing.
36 people that have been vaccinated,
Yeah.
and if you haven't been and you don't want to be, that's fine, but you're just not going to be on the show or something. You know, like that's what I would have assumed, but
it depends on when this was filmed.
that's true also. Yes.
That's what I mean. Like,
That is
if this,
also
I don't know when, because if this was before, like, that stuff was, like, widely, because I keep seeing that this was, like, a long time ago. Like, the cast has been saying that. Like, oh, this was months ago.
But even months ago, I mean, what are we talking? 4 or 5 months ago?
Yeah.
That's still, I mean, the vaccine was available in the summer. I mean, we're in December now.
It began filming in April.
That is a long time ago.
Yeah, that I feel like that is like when it was just
Right.
starting to roll
Yeah,
out.
that's when I had just gotten mine.
Yeah.
Was like the
I
end
actually-
of April.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that April's the start. I mean, it makes sense, but I almost would have thought.
Yeah, it says it began after the players quarantined
May,
for
June.
2 weeks following their arrival. Filming began,
Okay. All right. I
and
mean,
they just had
I-
testing in place.
yeah, it would make sense that at that point they would only have like a requirement for a negative test. But by the time the reunion comes around, I could see why they would be like, no, you have to be
Sure.
vaccinated.
Right.
That timeline makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it's true. I guess we'll find out when we get to the reunion. Maybe they'll mention it.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we did it.
So
We
I'm
made
wondering,
it!
the last thing that I have to say is, so what do you guys think from here? So we ended, Big T left, Emmy stayed, went back to Sapphire. So currently we have Emmy, CT, and Kyle on Sapphire, Nelson, Logan, and Tori on Ruby, and on Emerald it's Amanda, Casey, Nani, Devin, and Emmanuel. We heard Nani wondering if that could be the last women's elimination. We heard Big T wondering that. We heard Amanda saying, are we close to the final? People have been saying, could there be another men's elimination? I actually am wondering, do you guys think that we could see potentially like a double elimination next week?
Well, as they were wrapping up and as they were leaving, what didn't TJ say something like "Don't get too
TJ said,
comfortable"
"Yep."
or something?
He said, and I wrote that down. He said, "Don't get too comfortable." And it's interesting to me that we have 11 is a really weird number to me. There's 3. We have 3 on Sapphire, 3 on Ruby, 5 on Emeralds. That's 11 players. I think that's a really weird number, and I feel like I could see a double elimination next week where a guy and a girl go home, and like that could set us up for a 3-person on each team elimination. What do you guys think about that? Because a lot of times we've seen these finales, right, get split into 2 episodes. And if you were saying, what were you saying, Kyle, that you think that the finale of the challenge might be what date?
I'm hoping it's the 13th.
The 13th. Like would that put us in line for?
But like, did you just made that date up, or like, is there something that makes you think it's the 13th?
Well, just because the next week is like Christmas week, and then like if we do another elimination next week and then we get into the final would then be the 13th.
Mm.
I think we might be getting more than a double. I feel like we might get a purge.
Really?
I would like that.
You had said that a couple weeks ago, I feel like.
Yeah. Because I know All Stars last season, didn't they do a final with 8 and then people just got chopped off along the way?
Yeah.
If we have 11 left, I could see us losing 3.
Yeah. I feel like with all the comments, they had 3 different women say like, "Oh, I think this was the last women's elimination," and then you have TJ going like, "Don't get too comfortable."
Yeah,
and everybody's thinking it's a guy's elimination, which would make sense because we just saw a woman go home. So of course, we're still gonna have a guy leave, but I feel like there's more people leaving.
I think so. I think they need to speed this up,
and there's not that much time to get rid of them. So. I think that next week we're seeing multiple people leave the game.
I hope so. I'm ready for a final.
I mean, actually, I'm saying next week, and I'm like,
oh, it's now.
Oh.
Yeah,
you're right.
But next week when we actually talk about it,
yeah, very excited.
Yeah, at least we get to talk about that then Monday.
We'll be talking about what happened tonight before the next episode, so we'll be all caught up.
So the week ahead, because we're at an hour and 40. Like I'm done. I've totally had enough. I don't even want to sit in this chair anymore.
It's been good though. It's been good.
I'm tired. No, it's been very good.
Good conversation.
But, Monday, at 9:30, we're doing the next one, Big Brother Over the Top. We'll get down to our final 3. That's episode 9.
Mm-hmm.
And then hopefully I'd like to see a purge. Whittle it down so that we're set for a finale. Also, because these 90-minute episodes of the challenge really need to end, okay? Because they are really, really trying to fill it with like such crap. Like that boat day, I didn't need boat day. I'm hoping that the reason
where are you watching these 90-minute episodes?
What are you talking about? Like that's how long they're on actual TV.
I'm watching on my laptop. They're an hour for me.
Oh, yeah, no. If you have commercials, they're an hour and a half. And you
even when I'm on my laptop, I get commercials. What are you talking about?
Like no, the recording itself says 1 hour and 31 minutes. You just have to I just fast forward through the commercials.
I can't do that.
Mine, the most recent episode I just watched, it was an hour and 3 minutes. That was it.
Well, yeah, I'm sure it's an hour and 3 if I'm probably only watching for an hour and 3 because I'm DVRing it.
No, I gotta sit through all the commercials.
That's terrible.
I don't know. For some reason, it just plays straight through for me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just lucky. No commercials. An hour, and I'm done.
Okay.
Well, I'm not saying that mine is not an hour, but it shouldn't even be that long because there's not that much anymore. So let's wrap this up. So hopefully then that's why, maybe we'll get a purge next week. And then the finale can just be that last episode. And that's why we kept these episodes so damn long, because yours shouldn't even be an hour and 3. Yours should be 42 minutes then. Okay. Like a regular hour show. So anyway, that's what we do it on Monday. That's what we do it on Monday. And then we've got Survivor episode 12 at 9:15 next Wednesday. All right. All right, we're exhausted. I'm exhausted. Thank you so much for coming. It's been jury duty. Very fun, very fun.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Woo!
Like, subscribe, tell a friend. See you soon.